Hi everybody, it's Susie. Welcome back to my craft room. Okay, I'm sorry I'm late today getting this out, but there's a lot of sewing when you're sewing this many pieces. But what I wanted to talk to you about was your strings. If you're sewing and you want that shabby kind of look, you can absolutely leave your threads hanging. Because this is a more formal looking journal, I'm going to cut all of mine off. But if you want that shabby look, go ahead and, leave your strings. A lot of people really like the strings. I'm not really a huge fan of the strings, but, I find that when I'm trying to, work with pages, I ended up with them getting in my glue and, just places I didn't really necessarily want them to be. I usually don't leave my threads, but, you can if you want to. And, it does kind of give it a nice, shabby look to it. So, however you want to do it. Okay, I have not done the paint on the edges like I told you I was going to do. I'll do that over the weekend, so I'll have that ready to go on Monday. Now, what I did want to show you is my stitching looks pretty good for the most part. I have not punched my holes yet, but I'm going to do that next. And then I'm going to sort my pages in the order that I think I want them to go. For example, I'm not going to want pages, say with a bird cage on this page and a bird cage on that page. Or maybe, not necessarily a lot of, say, the darker gray or blackish colors, when you have something like this. So I'll probably separate those out a little bit to give it more balance. I have a couple of friends that are artists, Cynthia, Joanne, and then Joey DeFee, and maybe I can get one of them to join us, either by video or audio one day to talk about like perspective and position and proportions, or for setting up a page and, how to get, your, oh my goodness, your focal point, where your focal point is and kind of how to draw attention to that. I'm just really not qualified to do that. But I did want to show you that I did have a sewing machine problem. I wish I'd held that page aside. And I still don't know what the problem was, but I ended up with my bobbin tension having a problem. And my page looks horrid right here. You see where I ended up having lots of bobbin trouble on this page? Well, you know what? I'm not going to stress about it. I'm going to trim off my threads. And then, I just see some lace in its future, or an embellishment to cover these places up. So probably this page will end up being trimmed out in lace or, maybe, put a pocket or tuck or something on here to cover that up. So I do see something in its future. I'm just not sure what yet. So if you end up, having a problem like I did, I ended up, taking my bobbin out, making sure that it was in there, seated right in the right position, going again, and it messed up again. And I thought, well, paper, by the way, is very dusty. You wouldn't think that it is. So, and if you are new to using a sewing machine, you want to keep, your sewing machine cleaned out good. Take your little brush, and clean it out. So I did that. I took my bobbin out, cleaned all that out real good, made sure everything was good and clean, tried it again. I had more trouble with it. And so I just ended up taking taking the thread completely out, taking the bobbin out, restarted again and went, and everything worked out just fine after that. So, but anytime you have a little issue like that, it's no problem. We have embellishments that we can cover up little oopsies with. So I will mark that page. I'll go back through here when I'm setting up and I'll find that page again, and I'll, put a little sticky note or something on it to know that one I'm going to put lace on. So I'm not necessarily going to want to put lace on, a couple of pages before or after. Now, I also sewed around most of all of my embellishments, just not the little ones. Now, I had some issues with an envelope, and I wish I could remember which one. I think maybe this one. Oh, this one. This was it. Okay. My feeder was not feeding it in good, and then after I had that issue, then my bobbin thread ran out. Wouldn't you know? So I had little issues, and I ended up sewing this twice, which gave it almost a perforated appearance. And so that's making that very fragile. that's going to be a problem. I don't want, you know, when I fold this all up and you start using it, I don't want this to pop out because it's so fragile. And I wanted to share with you, because I like doing this on envelopes anyway, how to make, oh my goodness, my mind is blank again today. I'm so sorry. I've been taking some new medicine that I haven't taken, and it's Mucinex. And so I guess it's kind of affecting me a little bit. I don't really feel like it is, but I think it is. Anyhow, when I fold this all up, and this is wanting to already start causing me a problem here, which I could absolutely cover up with an embellishment. You know, I'm not worried about the looks of that, because, you know, I can put a ribbon or, you know, I mean, just anything on there and cover up what, you know, oopsies I might have. I'm more worried about the perforations and that being a problem. So there are a couple of ways that I could do this. I could, you know, open this back out and apply some glue around all of these sewn marks to anchor all that in. Or I can go ahead and glue my, you know, first I want to make an insert for my envelope. And, you know, you can use paper, tissue paper, you know, whatever you want to for an insert. And, of course, I don't have anything sitting here real handy. Let me look. I won't necessarily use this piece of paper because I'm... Alright, but I want to fold this in where it's going to actually sit. And we'll just pretend like this is the piece that I'm going to use. And what I think this does, and be careful, you don't want to get like ink on your piece. So just kind of, you know, on the outside. And you don't have to go all the way down, just, you know, like say halfway. And just kind of trim that out like that. And then when you cut inside of the ink line. I can't believe I can't think of what it's called. But I absolutely think it really does take your envelopes to a new level. And I use it, you know, so like when I make a card for somebody or something, and put it on here to make sure that it is going to fit. And if it doesn't, then of course you can trim it. You can go ahead and glue it down if you want to, and then trim around it if necessary. But you want it to be able to fit in there so that when you, and this one doesn't, it's a little bit too big, so that when you, and actually I did it the wrong end. It should, this is the flap. So I did that wrong anyway. So there we go. And I'm going to turn that over because you can see my ink marks. I wouldn't use ink, I would use pencil. Well, look at there. That has design on it anyway. Won't match, but you'll get the idea. So this way your envelope is all sealed up, and when this flap is down, when you open it up, that's, you know, you got a beautiful image inside of there. So I'll take probably a contrasting, or maybe like this darker gray, and cut out a gray piece of paper, or maybe even this, pick up this kind of pink in here and have that in there. Just something that when you open that envelope, it's like a wow effect. And of course, there will be a little journaling card, you know, in there as well. So this is an idea if you like to have your liner, your envelope liner. If you like to have your envelopes lined, which I do, I think it just, you know, takes it to a whole nother level, then you're going to want to do that. If you already have, say later on when you're working on something and you have a store-bought card that you're trying to alter, you can, you know, just trace around your envelope, just like you don't have to, you know, open it all out like I just did. It's not necessary. You know, you'll just put your envelope down on your paper and just trace around it, cut on the inside of the line, check it to make sure that it slides in nicely and that it's going to fit around here without hanging over. And then, of course, you just glue it in place. Now, you will have to slide whatever, and this is why you don't want to make your tuck in too long, because you're going to have to slide it, you know, down in here, and you're still going to want it to stick. So really, you know, maybe a quarter way down, just look where your flap, your bottom flap comes up. If it comes halfway, then you're going to need to go down about halfway to make sure that your outside flap is going to cover it. This one goes up really high, so this one absolutely did not need to be that long. I could have, made it like, say, here. But, if this was already put together like the store-bought envelope, this would need to tuck in there. And so I'm going to have to trim off some to make that work. And I would, put glue on that and glue that in place. And it would just be awesome when I go to open that envelope. Just like that. So, that is an idea if you want to line your envelopes. I just think envelope liners, give it a really classy look. So whatever you choose to do, I mean, this is, up to you. I just wanted to give you that as an option. And what that's going to do as well is it's going to reinforce this. Well, because I have had some issues down here, I'm just going to take a piece of paper, just another piece of scrap paper, and I'm actually going to cut it to that size and cover that whole thing, and then I'll put my envelope liner in because I am concerned about the stitching. This liner is going to protect all of this, but as much as I have it here, but it won't protect this bottom, and I absolutely want to do that. So where my stitches got really close together, and then I had to go over it the second time, that made that really fragile. You can do that with any of your pieces, any of your envelope pieces that you want to. As you can see, my stitches were much better here. And I'm really glad that I went with the gray thread. I think it looks great on there. And even on these, I think the gray thread looks nice because remember, it's going to have a page over here like this, and the color just blends in perfectly. I did sew all the way around like the outer edge, and then I came in from this direction and made sure I caught the edge of this flap in. Now all I have to do is punch my holes and ink around the edges or use the paint around the edges like I talked about before. And so I did sew all of these, decent size embellishment pieces or ephemera pieces, and except like the little flower shaped ones and the little tags that had the funny tops on them. These, I did not sew around these. It was hard enough trying to get around the envelopes that have kind of a scalloped edge on them. And of course I don't see them right now. Oh, right here's one. To try to keep moving the sewing machine around, that wasn't necessarily fun to try to do. It looked like I was drunk. Can I blame it on the sewing machine? No, but I'd like to. But anyway, they look really nice. Of course, I still need to trim my threads off. And, then these will be ready to fold up, and I'll have these glued together for Monday. And I'll have, my little paint edging done by Monday. And so then we'll start putting it all together. And I think you're going to be really excited about seeing it all come together. Over the weekend, work on, if you don't have the kit and you're making your own envelopes and stuff, go ahead and make those up to have them ready to put in your journals. Go ahead and make you up some journaling cards, maybe some belly bands, maybe some, little dangly pieces to put on there. When we finish this one off, after we get all of our pages done, we are going to make some dangles to hang off the edges and to hang off of our rings, probably a little tassel. I'll show y'all how to make all that. Now, I am not a jewelry maker, so I'm not an expert, but I do want to show you how you can, make your own dangles and stuff very inexpensively. And beads are pretty cheap, so you can get, beads, especially if you watch the sales. So that's kind of where I'm headed with this, and I wanted to show you, obviously, because of the amount of time, it takes to sew all this. I did not get the other one done. And I'm not sure that I want to sew around these pages like I did these, because I want this one to be more of a shabby kind of journal. Not necessarily shabby, but I might make these edges look kind of torn, a little bit, scruff them up. So if I decide that I'm going to do that, I'll go ahead and have those ready by Monday. I'll have my pieces sewn around. Now, these pieces I will not sew around because I will end up folding these to make envelopes and tucks, and, so I'm going to cut them, and I don't know how I'm going to cut them yet, so I will not sew around these until after I have my pieces made, and then I'll sew around them at that point. And of course, I will go ahead and sew around my journal cards, and things like that. and I'll have that done and ready by Monday, and I'll have whatever inking done that I want to do as well. So, I just kind of wanted to show you my progress and some options that you can do, and not to get stressed out. If you make little boo-boos, they can always be covered up. And ultimately, remember, it is just paper. That's all it is paper. So if I absolutely hate the way it looks, I have a trash can right here beside me, and I can just chunk that right in the trash can. So once I try to, put some, and like I said, I'll mark that page and any others that I come across, that don't necessarily look great. I'll mark those. And before I go placing, a whole bunch of stuff on here, I'm going to go ahead and say put the lace on this one, particularly on this side, or, the, I can't think of what the, when you fold up your paper, the strip of paper, the strip of ribbon, and, you sew down it or glue down it. Anyway, I'll put something like that on there. And if I hate it at that point, I'll chunk it, before I go ahead and put a whole bunch of stuff on it. So, keep that in mind. We can fix all of this. And if need be, I can have one page that I just cover with white paper, and, then you won't even know it. You might miss the sewing, you might not. But, I just think that I can cover this with no problem, and it's going to look great, and nobody will know the difference. And it'll look like I intentionally did it that way and didn't have any boo-boos. But, it would look just fine, even say with the ribbon edge on it. Nobody would know the difference. It'd be gorgeous. So we have options of covering things up. And like I said, on that envelope, I am going to make an envelope liner for that one that, is messed up. And if I see, because I did have a couple where the feeder was not pulling them through and it made my stitches kind of close, I may go ahead and just put a thin layer of glue or Mod Podge over my stitches just to reinforce them and to reinforce those holes so that they won't tear later on. Now, these ones that I accidentally made with the real thick stuff, I don't have to worry about those. Those aren't going anywhere. But the ones that I used the, just the double thickness of paper, I probably will, take some Mod Podge or some glue and put around my stitches and the holes just to kind of reinforce them, and also use the envelope liners because I really like the envelope liners. My cards are going to be no problem if you see that you maybe rounded a corner instead of squared it off like I did on this one. I can stick a little flower there, or, a little butterfly, or, just anything, just a piece of bling, a piece of, fabric, just anything to, cover up whatever I don't necessarily like. So don't worry about it if your stitching is not perfect if you're sewing. And you don't have to sew. If you don't want to sew, don't sew. If you hate sewing, don't sew. If you don't have a sewing machine, don't worry about it. Just do you, whatever is right for you. So enjoy the process. Have fun with what you're doing. And so I am going to cut this short for today, but I did want to show you my progress, give you some options, some things to think about as you're going along. And I look forward to starting to put our pieces together and embellishing. And again, we're going to start out just by putting them where we think we want them to go, to make sure that, we kind of have a good balance. Everything's not towards the front and everything's not towards the back. It's going to be kind of a good balance. Then we can start gluing stuff in, seeing if we need to make some extra pieces, things like that. So just enjoy, your process. Have fun. Maybe you want to, with whatever papers you're using, maybe you want to find some images that you can fussy cut that will look nice in there. Like for the men's papers, I might want to find, I know I have a old car stamp. I might want to use old car stamps, say, on my blank pages to just kind of decorate them up. I might want to find like images of pocket watches, old pocket watches, and then, cut those out for little embellishments. Anything that's more like manly, you might want to go ahead and find those. If you want to use buttons, you might want to go ahead and pull out some buttons that would kind of match your projects. Any little fabric scraps, pull those out, pull out your scrap ribbons, your scrap cheesecloth. If you're going to use coffee dyed stuff, go ahead and make sure you have your coffee dyed papers. Make sure you have your embellishments coffee dyed if that's what you want, or your fabrics, or laces or trims or whatever you're going to use. you know, if you're going to ink them, you know, you might want to go ahead and do that so that we start putting our journals together and it just is going to flow and we can all kind of finish at the same time. I am still trying to figure out how to work the Facebook thing to get the group started so that I can have y'all share your photos with me on Facebook of your projects that you do, because I would love to see the papers you use, whether you're using a kit, and it doesn't matter which kit, I just love to see, you know, your work. And it may not even be a ring-bound journal, just whatever. I would love to see your work. And, you know, we're all at different stages. We all have different styles. Never, ever, ever compare yourself to somebody else. And, you know, that has been kind of a struggle for me, honoring G. Kerr, is because I wanted to make sure that I did her papers and her techniques justice, because I knew I was going to be putting my spin on them and giving y'all ideas and suggestions, other than what she did, but I still wanted to do it in a way that was honoring to her and did not take away from her whatsoever. And so I hope that I have accomplished that. My friend assured me that I have done that, and, you know, that I've done a great job, and I appreciate that. I needed that encouragement. I needed that conversation with her last night. When I hung up the phone, I was on cloud 9. I so much enjoyed talking to her. And she was so inspirational and encouraging to me, and I just really appreciate it. Thank you, Cynthia, from the bottom of my heart. It did me a world of good. It really did. And, you know, this morning I woke up with you know, a different spring in my step, with some joy. You know, something happened. Somebody came to my door, and it was not good news. And that tried to steal my joy, and I just didn't let it. I said, you know what? I'm going to go back to my happy place and get my journal pages sewn. And I did. And so, you know, I didn't allow anything to steal my joy. So again, you know, I can't stress how important it is, that phone call was to me, and how much that it helped. I didn't even realize I needed a little attitude adjustment, but I did, and it helped. It really, really helped. So you know what, y'all? Reach out to somebody. You know, it doesn't matter who. Just reach out to somebody and, you know, show them a little love and attention, and it will make a difference. It really, really will, especially in these times when we are so locked down and closed in from other people. You don't even realize that you're kind of getting into that hermit feeling situation, until something like that happens, and you're like, wow, you know, I really needed that. I didn't know I needed it, but I really needed that. So, you know, take time to reach out to one another, because it really does matter. And you know what? It's going to be a blessing to you. I'm sure my friend was blessed as well last night. I at least pray that she was. And it was just an amazing thing, and it helped me in my process today. I felt so much better about what I was doing. And she gave me some ideas that is going to relieve a lot of stress and pressure from me. And I appreciate that. You know, so sometimes it's talking things through with somebody, and having, you know, somebody on the outside look in and say, hey, you know, why don't you do this instead of that? And it's like, wow, you know, that's a great idea. Why don't I do that? So, you know, I journaled, you know, the highlights of our conversation, and I will be implementing, you know, a lot of her ideas into, you know, my daily life, and in my future thinking about my crafting. And so it does make a difference. So, you know, share your excitement, share your stressors, you know, share everything. And, you know, somebody is going to say something that will say, oh, wow, yeah, I didn't think about it that way. And it's going to help you. So it's made a difference for me today, and I appreciate it so very much. I'm so excited about getting this together. I don't know if y'all have seen G. Kerr's videos in the last month, where she has done like the origami dresses and a coat, I think a fan, some other little embellishment pieces, you know, like to make paper clips with, or, you know, just to glue down to a page. And I'm thinking, since this one is so feminine, I may incorporate one or two of those in here. If I do, I will make them on camera so that you can see how they're done. In the meantime, y'all can go over and check out her videos on them. They're absolutely beautiful, beautiful pieces. And I think it might just be what the doctor ordered for this particular journal. And so I am going to, you know, pull on those videos to pull in and try to incorporate with this. So anyway, y'all, I'm going to call it a day. For all my new subscribers, thank you, thank you, thank you for coming over. I'm so glad to have you. You know, please, you know, like the videos, leave me a comment, let me know, you know, what you would like to see. You know, just send me some love and encouragement, or, you know, say, hey, you know, I wish you would do this or that. Whatever, good, bad, or indifferent, I'd like to hear from you. For all my subscribers that have been around a while, please hit the like button. Also, leave me a comment. They really, really, really mean a lot to me. I love reading your comments. They are so encouraging and inspiring to me. And it only takes you, you know, 5 or 10 seconds, you know, to say hi, you know, good video, you know, your video was awful today, you know, whatever. Just, you know, take a couple seconds and, you know, just send me a little comment if you would. I'd appreciate it. Y'all be blessed. Blessings and hugs to everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me. And I love hearing from you. I love doing for you. I do have a mail video coming up. I've got several mail things that I've gotten in the mail. You know, the things that I've won and things like that I want to share with you because it's really exciting. And I like to share the excitement with you. So I hope to get that out later on today. I really wanted to get this part done and this video made and shared with y'all today, since tomorrow is Saturday and of course the next day Sunday. And I'm not planning on uploading videos on Saturday and Sunday at this point. I may, but right now I'm not planning on it. I think I need those 2 days to kind of play catch up. And I'm still trying to get some organizing done. You know, and I just, you know, I need to do that, you know, plus, you know, living alone and being disabled, my housework takes me, you know, way longer than it takes most people. So, you know, I do need to take some time, I think, just to, you know, get things done in my home, plus in my craft room, so that I can be excited and productive for y'all as well as for myself. Okay, y'all have a great, great weekend. I love you all. I thank you so much. Y'all are just precious. I thanked my friend last night for that great conversation. It helped me more than you could possibly know. You are truly a blessing sent from God. Thank you for your friendship, your love and support, and your constant encouragement. You just don't know how much it means to me. Okay, y'all. Again, have a great weekend. And if I don't see you in the next video, I'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.